Welcome to District Command Central, your go-to source for the latest news and updates on the Washington Commanders. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a play. Robert Griffin III has never been shy about speaking his mind. And this week he dropped a bombshell on his Out of Pocket with RGIII podcast. That's shaking up the Washington Commanders fan base after rookie quarterback Jayden Daniels went down with what looked like a season-ending elbow injury during the Commanders' 38-14 loss to the Seattle Seahawks on Sunday night. The mood in Washington turned grim. But then came the surprising update. Daniels' injury wasn't as bad as initially feared. The scans came back clean. No ligament damage, no need for surgery, and no spot on the injured reserve list. In theory, Daniels could suit up again this season, but if you ask RGIII, he absolutely shouldn't, not this year. Not with the Commanders sitting at 3-7, not with nothing left to play for. And that's where this story takes on an emotional twist, because for Robert Griffin III, this isn't just about another young quarterback fighting through adversity. It's personal. It's about history repeating itself in the cruelest way possible. Griffin knows better than anyone what it's like to have your career altered, maybe even destroyed, because of a rush to return to the field too soon. He lived it in Washington. He was the golden child once too, the no-to overall pick, the Heisman winner, the future of the franchise, and then, just like that, it was gone. An injury that should have been manageable turned into something catastrophic because the team and the player didn't hit pause. They pressed on. They tried to be heroes. And the consequences were career-defining. On his podcast, RGIII didn't hold back. He admitted that he's avoided talking in depth about his time in D.C., even shelving a book he'd been working on because, as he put it, it wasn't the right time to have that conversation. But this situation with Daniels brought everything rushing back. Just know, he said, my situation in D.C. and Jayden's, outside of the surface-level stuff, you know? Black quarterback, second pick, Heisman winner. Hurt on the same yard line, on the same field, against the same team. It's not the same. Trust me. It's wild. It's like the Twilight Zone. Some voodoo stuff. It's one of those eerie coincidences that football seems to produce every few years. A perfect storm of déjà vu that makes you question whether some franchises are just cursed. The parallels between the two quarterbacks are undeniable. Both Griffin and Daniels arrive in Washington with a tidal wave of hype behind them. Both were electric playmakers who brought hope to a fan base desperate for something to believe in. Both wore that heavy crown of being the savior, and both found themselves staring down the same nightmare under the same stadium lights. When RGIII went down against Seattle in the 2013 wild card game, tearing both his LCL and ACL, the world watched his career change in real time. He tried to fight through it. He tried to come back too soon. He never fully recovered. Never got back to being the guy who once made the whole league stop and watch. That haunting memory is exactly why he's speaking up now. I tip my hat to Josh Harris and this new ownership group, Griffin said, referencing the Commanders' new regime, which has been working hard to clean up the mess left behind by the Dan Snyder era. But I think they should sit him out. I think they should sit Jayden Daniels out for the rest of the season. I know they're going to reevaluate him after the bye week. But if this team isn't playing for a playoff spot or anything substantial, they should hold him out for the rest of the year. He's not just making a medical argument here. He's making a philosophical one. The Commanders have been through enough heartbreak, enough wasted potential, enough what-ifs. Protecting Daniels isn't about giving up. It's about playing the long game, about doing what's best for the player, not just the team. And look, it's not like RGIII's take is coming out of nowhere. The Commanders' season is hanging by a thread. Sitting at 3-7, they're staring up at the rest of the NFC East, with the playoffs nothing more than a mathematical fantasy. Daniels, for all his flashes of brilliance, isn't going to single-handedly change that. Through 6 games this season, he's thrown for 1,184 yards, 8 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Solid numbers, especially for a rookie who's still learning how to survive behind an inconsistent offensive line. But that's exactly the point. If he's already taken this many hits, if his elbow's already barking, if the team has nothing to gain in the short term, why risk it? Why let history repeat itself just because the optics of shutting him down might rub some fans the wrong way? There's also a deeper emotional undertone to Griffin's plea. You can hear it in his voice when he talks about the organization, when he says it's not the same as his situation. What he's really acknowledging is that this version of the Commanders, with new ownership, new leadership, new energy, has a chance to do things differently, to break the cycle, to protect their young star instead of pushing him to prove something. When there's nothing left to prove, for years, Washington was the poster child for dysfunction, a place where talent went to die, where culture problems ran deeper than the field. But with Harris now at the helm, there's hope that things might finally be changing. Sitting Daniels could be the first true sign that the Commanders are learning from their past, instead of being trapped by it, and it's hard not to draw that comparison. That haunting image of RGIII, lying on the turf at FedEx Field, clutching his knee, refusing to come out, every football fan remembers it. Every Washington fan still feels it. That was supposed to be the beginning of something, not the end. And now, more than a decade later, here we are again, another young phenom, another injury, another moment where the franchise has to decide what kind of legacy it wants to build. Griffin's message is simple: don't let this kid become another cautionary tale. Don't let the ghosts of the past dictate the future. The thing about RGIII's take is that it's not bitter. It's reflective. You can tell he genuinely wants Daniels to succeed, to have the career he never fully got to enjoy. He's not criticizing the team for the sake of headlines. He's warning them from experience. There's a different weight when someone like Griffin says, "I've been there." He knows what it's like to feel invincible at 22, to think you can push through anything, to believe that toughness equals leadership. He also knows what it's like to wake up one day and realize that one decision, one snap, changed everything. That's why his call for patience, for protection, hits so hard. Of course, not everyone agrees. Some fans argue that if Daniels is cleared, he should play, that every rep, every drive, every throw matters for his development. That sitting him might stunt his growth or make him hesitant when he finally returns. But the truth is, development isn't just about taking hits and making plays. It's about learning how to sustain success over time. Sometimes the most valuable lesson a young quarterback can learn is restraint. To understand that protecting your body and your future isn't weakness, it's wisdom. If you zoom out, this story is bigger than just Washington. It's about how the NFL treats its young quarterbacks, especially those who come in as dual-threat playmakers. The league loves their electricity, but often fails to protect them long-term. Griffin was one of the first of that new generation, and he paid the price. Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, Kyler Murray. They've all faced their own battles with durability and the pressure to prove they can be both magician and machine. Now it's Jayden Daniels' turn. And Washington has a chance to do what they didn't do before: prioritize longevity over short-term headlines. So what happens next? The Commanders have a bye week to figure it out, and all eyes will be on how they handle this decision. If they take RGIII's advice, they'll shut Daniels down, let him heal fully, and spend the rest of the year evaluating what's around him: the offensive line, the coaching staff, the play calling. If they ignore it and rush him back, they'll be gambling not just with a player's elbow, but with the future of the franchise. Because make no mistake, Jayden Daniels is the future. Everything Washington wants to become starts with him. Robert Griffin III may not have had the ending he wanted in D.C., but maybe, just maybe, this is his way of helping the next guy avoid the same fate. Maybe this is the full circle moment he's been waiting for, the chance to use his scars to protect someone else's potential. And if the Commanders are wise, they'll listen, because history has a way of repeating itself in Washington. The question now is whether they're finally ready to break that cycle, or whether the twilight zone that Griffin described will claim another quarterback's career before it even has the chance to truly begin. If you're enjoying the coverage, make sure to smash that like button and drop a comment with your thoughts on the Commanders' latest moves. We want to hear from you. Washington has just witnessed one of the most heartbreaking moments in recent NFL history, as fans are still reeling from the shocking news. Terry McLaurin, the beloved wide receiver and undeniable face of the franchise, has reportedly said goodbye to the Washington Commanders. For years, McLaurin has been more than just a player. He has been a symbol of hope, resilience, and relentless determination for a fan base that has endured its fair share of ups and downs. From the moment he stepped onto the field as a rookie, there was a palpable electricity surrounding him. Every catch, every sprint down the sideline, every touchdown seemed to inject the stadium with life, reminding everyone why football in Washington still matters. But now, whispers of his departure have turned into a storm. and the very city he carried on his back seems to be holding its breath in disbelief. Sources close to the team have hinted that this parting may have been brewing for some time, though the exact reasons remain shrouded in secrecy. Is it a clash with management, a desire for a fresh start, or a strategic career move? No one outside the inner circles can say for sure, but the speculation is relentless. Fans are flooding social media with their theories, some lamenting a betrayal, others understanding the professional reasoning behind such a monumental decision. McLaurin's relationship with the team, the coaches, and even the front office has been under scrutiny for months, with subtle tensions surfacing here and there. Yet nothing prepared the city or the league for the possibility that this electric, explosive talent would soon be wearing someone else's colors. The narrative unfolding is like something out of a sports drama. The loyal hero leaving the only place he's truly known as a star, sending shockwaves through locker rooms and living rooms alike. The timing of McLaurin's departure only adds fuel to the rumor mill right now. The league is buzzing with trade talks, contract negotiations, and franchise maneuvers. Insiders are speculating that multiple teams are circling, eager to scoop up one of the most dynamic receivers in the game from coast to coast. Executives are reportedly making calls, scouting every highlight reel and crunching every number, desperate to position themselves ahead of competitors. Meanwhile, in Washington, fans are torn between anger and heartbreak. Merchandise sales have reportedly spiked as supporters rush to claim memorabilia before the inevitable goodbye becomes permanent. Every mention of his name in the local media now carries a bittersweet tone. Each highlight from past games replayed with a tinge of melancholy in stadiums across the nation. Commentators are already crafting narratives. The prodigal hero leaves, the Commanders must rebuild, and Washington is left staring at a future that suddenly feels uncertain. Eyewitnesses close to team operations have hinted at the emotional farewell that reportedly took place behind closed doors. Sources claim that McLaurin's last interactions with teammates were filled with heartfelt words, hugs, and a quiet acknowledgement of what he has meant to everyone in the organization. Veteran players have been said to openly express their admiration for his professionalism, his dedication, and the fire he brought to every game. Rumors suggest there may have been tears, promises to stay in touch, and even some cryptic comments that hint at an eventual return. Though nothing is confirmed, the locker room, once a place of camaraderie and laughter, now seems heavy with nostalgia, as if the walls themselves remember every electrifying moment he created on the field. The human side of this story is almost as gripping as the professional implications, painting McLaurin not just as an athlete, but as a character in a larger-than-life saga that fans have watched unfold over the years. The reactions from the fanbase are both immediate and intense. Social media platforms are ablaze with emotional posts, viral videos, and heated debates about what McLaurin's exit will mean for the team. Die-hard supporters are creating tribute videos, compiling career highlights, and sharing personal stories of how his presence inspired them. Some are questioning the team's direction, criticizing management for letting a cornerstone player leave, while others are speculating about potential replacements, rumored trades, or free agent signings that might fill the void. The collective mood in Washington feels like a city holding its breath, waiting for the next announcement that could define the franchise's trajectory for years to come. And as the debate rages online, sports analysts are weighing in with their takes, dissecting contract details, potential landing spots, and the long-term implications for both McLaurin and the Commanders. Every angle seems to invite more questions than answers, and the rumor mill shows no signs of slowing down. Some insiders are suggesting that McLaurin's departure could mark a turning point for the franchise. For years, the Commanders have struggled with inconsistency, front office controversies, and coaching changes. Yet McLaurin remained a constant, a player who carried the hopes of the city on his shoulders week after week. His exit could signal the beginning of a rebuild, a shift in team strategy, or perhaps even an overhaul in leadership, but others caution against overreaction, noting that the NFL is a fluid, unpredictable landscape where star players move frequently, and the next chapter for Washington could bring unexpected opportunities. Regardless, the symbolism of this moment is impossible to ignore. McLaurin has been more than statistics and touchdowns. He has been the embodiment of determination, a beacon for younger players, and a source of pride for fans who have longed for a recognizable hero. His departure leaves a vacuum that will be felt on and off the field, echoing in the hearts of fans for months, perhaps years, to come. As the story continues to develop, Speculation about McLaurin's next move is reaching a fever pitch. Rumors are circulating that several top-tier teams are lining up offers, each promising opportunities that align with his ambition and skill set. Analysts are debating which franchises make the most sense: those with Super Bowl aspiration, those with strong quarterback play, or those looking for a marquee talent to energize their fan base. At the same time, Washington is reportedly exploring every possible avenue to retain him, from renegotiated contracts to incentives that would make staying irresistible. The tension between loyalty, ambition, and opportunity is palpable, and every insider tip adds another layer of intrigue. It's a narrative filled with suspense, uncertainty, and drama, the kind of story that keeps fans glued to every update, every report, every leak, no matter how small. One cannot ignore the cultural impact of McLaurin's departure either. In Washington, he has become more than just an athlete. He has been a symbol of hope, a role model for aspiring young players, and an ambassador for the sport. His presence in the community, involvement in charitable causes, and approachable personality off the field have earned him a place in the hearts of many, making this farewell even more poignant as fans contemplate the next season without their star. The emotional weight of this moment becomes clearer. Social media is filled with tributes, hashtags, and heartfelt messages, each attempting to capture the significance of what it means to lose a player who has been both a competitor and a friend in the public eye. The city, the franchise, and the league all feel the ripple effects of this announcement, and every rumor adds fuel to the fire of speculation and conversation. Ultimately, Terry McLaurin's farewell to the Washington Commanders is shaping up to be one of the defining stories of the NFL offseason. It's a tale of passion, loyalty, ambition, and change, wrapped in the drama of sports, politics, and the unpredictable nature of professional football. While the exact details may never be fully confirmed, the emotional resonance is undeniable. Fans across the nation, and particularly those in Washington, are left to grapple with the absence of a player who has meant so much to their team and their city. And as the rumor mill churns, with whispers of trades, new contracts, and potential rivalries, one thing is certain: Terry McLaurin's impact on the Commanders, on the city of Washington, and on the NFL as a whole will not be forgotten anytime soon. The story is far from over, but the chapter that included McLaurin in Washington has, for now, come to a bittersweet, tearful end. Thanks for tuning into District Command Central. Make sure to subscribe and follow us for all the Commanders news you need. Until next time, keep the faith and hail to the Commanders.